We no longer live under something that can be defined properly as capitalism. Wherever we turn, we see capital. Capital making gains over labor, over society, over our democracies. And here I am with an outrageous thesis that capitalism is on the way out. Now, what's capital? It's not money. It's not a kind of divinity. It's something very tangible. Economists, and we define capital as goods that have been produced for the purposes of assisting in the production of other goods. In other words, produced means of production. That was what capital was. This is what capital has always been. Capital, of course, preceded capitalism. Capitalism is a system, a mode of production and distribution of goods and services, in which the power to compel others to do things is vested in those who have ownership over capital goods. In the previous mode of production, under feudalism, power sprang out of ownership of land. With the transition, the great transformation from feudalism to capitalism, increasingly power shifted from those who had land to those who owned capital goods. Capitalism vested the owners of capital with two new powers. The first power was to compel those who did not have capital to work for them. The second power, the power of the capitalist class, of those who own the majority of capital goods, to set the agenda, and to set the agenda in the various fora where big, important decisions are taken on behalf of everyone. In the past, under feudalism, it was the landowners that had the power to set the agenda. My hypothesis, which I want to share with you, and now have a new form of capital, a new ruling class, a spanking new ruling class, even a new mode of production. There's a second power, that command capital grants its owners, whom I call cloudalists. The same algorithms that guide our purchases also have the capacity surreptitiously to command us, the users, directly to produce new command capital for the cloudalists. What I'm saying here is that the cloudalists have a power that no capitalist ever had. They have the power to make you and I, unwaged, without even realizing that we're working for them, produce part of their command capital. All those varieties of capitalism are based on two pillars. One was that the engine that drove them was private profit. The second one was that all the exploitation happening through markets. Markets, profits, the two pillars of capitalism. Part of my thesis is that from 2009 onwards, the role that profits used to play in fueling the engine that pulled capitalism ahead was profits were replaced by central bank money. The most important companies of the last 10, 15 years don't really make profits. What drives them is a stock exchange where their shares are going through the roof. And why are the shares going through the roof? Because central banks have been printing the money to make sure that the financial markets remain in rude health. The second pillar, markets, they are on the way out, and I've already explained why. Because command capital has risen to such an extent that not only does it tell us what we want, but it also creates the platforms on which we can actually buy that which they tell us that we want. What we have is a new kind of capital, which I call command capital, giving rise to a new ruling class, the cloudalists. You have the replacement of profit making with central bank money, which creates new ways of telling people what to do. Yeah? Because if you are Elon Musk, for instance, your capacity to make the world go round. So capital may indeed be everywhere. And it's clearly on a rampage. It is on a triumphant march, flattening democracies, flattening social capital, flattening labor, creating an ever-burgeoning precariat,